Today I'm gonna show you how to do an ageless eye makeup look that's gonna make your eyes look bigger and brighter, especially when you don't sleep well the night before like I did last night. But the look is still gonna give you like the perfect amount of definition and without being boring whatsoever. And let me just say, there is nothing wrong with hooded eyes or smaller set eyes. It just means that we have to be a little bit more strategic about where we put our eye makeup. And at the end, I'm gonna show you how to take this look from day to night with just a few simple tweaks. For the longest time, I was so fixated on how can I get like the perfect smoky eye, or how can I make my eyes like more defined and like more pop. And I felt like the more makeup I put on, the older it made me look. And over time, I realized less is more. And that is exactly what I'm gonna show you today. I'm gonna start with saying that I wake up every morning and I put eye drops in my eyes. I have eye drops next to my bed, and that's literally the first thing I do. So I already put some in today, but this morning, these caught my eye. I still have one left. I bought a whole box of them like 2 years ago, and I decided today would be a really good day to use the last of it, because like I said, I'm extra tired. They are called Upneeq, and they're meant for lifting hooded eyes or making your eyes look more awake. And I think they're also used when people get too much Botox and they end up with a droopy eye. Apparently it can help with that. So let's start off with these. I have to say, I didn't love them for the price, but I'm gonna use them today. I wanna say these are like $5 per pack. If you do the math, I guess if you're like going somewhere and you have like a big event and you really want your eyes to be more wide awake, which is what these do, it would be worth it. But on a regular basis, I think that's a little excessive. All right, so let's get into the makeup. I just found this and it's very exciting because it was only like $7 on Amazon. So I was a little weary that it was gonna be like a really crappy product, but to be honest, I think I might go and buy more, even though I don't think this will, I think this will last me like forever, but I don't wanna live without it now. It is called Catrice Under Eye Brightener Instant Awake. Go ahead and use my fingers. This is gonna go under my eyes and all over my eyelid. It's gonna work as a primer. Because to be honest, I don't love the way eye primers work on my skin. I feel like as soon as I put it on, it makes everything else that I put on over it so much harder to blend in. So we're not gonna set this either. And I just realized I never put the rest of my lipstick on. I was gonna do that when I got before I started. So yeah, I'm like, what's missing? I'm gonna use the Gibson Girl Pink Honey. It's like a lipstick, lip gloss in one. It's really pigmented. Another product I just picked up from Ulta is this MAC long wear paint pot. I haven't really worn MAC in a long time, to be honest. Mainly because I have my makeup line, Gibson Girl, but I'm obsessed with anything and all other makeup lines, so I still obviously use other things. So I'm gonna go in with, guess what's the concealer brush? It's the Morphe M224. So I'm gonna go in on my lower lid, and I am going to just pat it in, and I'm gonna keep it on my lower lid. You could use this over your entire lid as a primer, but like I said, less is more. I'm gonna go in and make sure I'm getting the corner and just dab. Do not want to wipe with anything really, because obviously you're gonna be wiping it away. So, and it doesn't really settle into the crepiness that you normally have around your eyes. So I really like that about it. Also too, another tip is always just anything with your eyes. If you're blending, blend up. Always blend up. That's what gives us a lifting effect. All right, so I do want to use a brush now just because I want to get it up into this area. You don't need a lot of this. Like this will probably last me forever. It'll probably dry out before I end up using it all. I also just picked this up from Ulta, bringing it back to the Naked Palette Days. This is Naked 3. It's their little mini one, because honestly, I don't use a ton of eyeshadows. So these little ones will last just fine. Plus they had so many to choose from, I ended up getting like 3 of them. So it doesn't have a matte one in this, or a matte light one. So I'm gonna use one from this other little mini palette I picked up Soft Glam 2 Anastasia, and they do have a matte one, so I just want to take this color, the lightest color. And the reason why I'm not using this one today is because it's more for warm colors, which I like using warm, but I'm gonna go for more of a cool neutral look today. But I do like this. This can go either way. I'm gonna go ahead and accentuate the brightness by putting this light matte color on the middle of my lower lid. See how it just kind of like made me look more awake. And I'm using my finger because you get a lot more pigment, and I'm just stamping it, if that makes sense. I'm obsessed with this. I could layer it on, but like I said, less is more, less is more. You could drag this to here, but I don't know, powder, like I said, I don't want to create a crepey look and ruin it, so we're not gonna do that. The little Naked 3 palette. You know, I bet you if I would have got the bigger one, it probably would have had the matte in it, you know, but anyways. All right, I'm gonna go with the laced up, kind of lighter of the matte shades, like a taupey color. And I'm using my finger again to start with. I'm gonna stamp it, but I'm looking straight on to start. When you're looking, normally if you're doing an eyeshadow, most of the time you're like going like this, so you're gonna end up putting, you know, your crease right here, and then when you close your eye, it's gonna cover it. So we're gonna stamp it where you can see. So right here. Don't worry, we'll blend it. So don't freak out. Now that you have your crease, take it down into here, mid to halfway, kind of warm this corner up a little bit. You have a little bit more control, I think, when you're using your fingers, and you have the warmth of your fingertips to help push it in. You could use a brush like this. This is a Jenny Pat Tinkin. It's made with aluminum, recycled aluminum. So, and it's a great brush. I think it's also made with plastic fibers, which you would never know. All right, so if you wanted to create a little more drama, you can go ahead and pack this in a little bit more with your brush. I'm also stamping versus swiping at this point. You will eventually swipe, but right now we're just packing. So again, look how much more awake this looks because I'm lifting it up. I'm lifting my eye. This eye looks a little bit more downturned at this point, and this one already looks more awake. So if you wanted to, now you can take a brush that's clean. You can soften this up if you want. It already kind of looks pretty soft, but we're gonna anyways. You can use glitter or shimmer if you are doing it very strategically, which I will show you for our night look, how I use it. All right, so we're stamping, and then we're bringing it in a little bit, creating some warmth, so it's not just like a bright white eyelid. Layering is better than adding too much all at once, because if you go in and you're super heavy-handed, then you're gonna ruin it. And it'll be a lot harder to take away than it is to add on. So our empty brush, clean brush, and soften that up a little bit. Okay, so we are taking the Morphe M250-0, and we're gonna take this color, because it's dark enough for a liner, but it's not black, so it's not too harsh for the look we're going for. And this brush, this little brush, is pretty amazing for what we're gonna do. We want to create definition on the lash line, or as close to the lash line as possible, without creating an eyeliner, because I don't want it to look like I'm wearing an eyeliner. I just want to accentuate my eyes, give them definition. All right, so gotta be a little tricky at first, but and don't worry if you mess it up in the beginning. It's fine. We all make mistakes. Or stamping. So it's okay if you're not perfect, because we're gonna be blending it in anyway. So it's a little heavier than I would have normally wanted. So we're gonna blend this in. And this eyeshadow palette, I'm gonna have to say, give it a lot of props, because it does not have hardly any fallout. Like, I don't have anything going on right now, which is nice. But if I did, you can always just like wipe it away. And that's another reason why I wait to do the concealer at the very end, because if you make a mistake and you have your eye all done with your concealer, then you have to wipe it off and redo it. So it's all about saving time. Am I gonna get some steady hands? I'm not a fan of a winged liner anymore because, like I said, the harder I try, the worse it looks. And I don't have the patience for it. This eye still looks a little downturned. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna look up and I'm just gonna kind of take whatever is left over on my brush. I'm just gonna flick it up. But I have a trick at the end. I'll show you how to make sure that we are lifted and sculpted. I wanna say I can feel this kick in now. Like, I kind of feel like I feel like my eyes are more awake. We're gonna do this darker color. This is called the Right Time. And I'm just a little bit of drop shadow, not a ton. And literally that's it. And that's kind of excessive, honestly. I feel kind of like that was too much. But I'm gonna take a little bit off. Because like I said, less is more. And sometimes you just do too much and it does age you. We are gonna do our waterline, a flesh colored pencil. You are going to lightly go in, line your waterline with it. Honestly, a little bit goes a long way. Like if you overdo it, then you're just gonna look like a China doll. This is the Gibson Girl Brow Light Waterline Pencil. You can use it to line your, define your brows. I don't know, it's just not my thing though, so, but you can. It's a multi-purpose product. Some people can get away with wearing a lot of makeup and I always used to say it to my clients when I was doing their makeup, like some clients, their face just like eats the makeup and you can just like pile it on and you're like, oh my God. If I would wear this much makeup, I would crack. And that's me, like the more I put on, I feel like it's just, my face doesn't look good with a ton of makeup on it. We're gonna curl our lashes. You don't ever wanna miss this step. Even if you don't wear mascara, curl your lashes. I'm always playing around, trying to find the next best eyelash mascara. I just stumbled across this Maybelline Falsies Lash Lift, and it's great. The one thing is, it does not come off very easily, and it's not even waterproof. I don't think I accidentally brought, I don't think I did, yeah. But anyways, if you want a long-lasting mascara, here you go. So, some makeup artists will tell you not to go from the base, because it will make your lashes heavy and end up like falling. But there is a trick for that. So I say, actually mascara is probably only product that less is not more. More is more. Little trick is to look down and blink into it. So I said I had a trick to show you to keep your lashes from falling, and I left my lash comb. So that's part of the tip, but that's okay. I can improvise because there's always a way. Well, I'm gonna use a Q-tip. While they're drying, kind of keep them lifted. I would normally do this, like I said, with a lash comb. All right, you can do this. Actually, here's another trick. We're gonna wipe this off with a clean makeup wipe. And now you have a lash comb. It's probably good to do that with it every so often anyways, so it doesn't get caked up. Not as good as a lash comb, but it will work. It's as good as it's gonna get today. All right, so this is where we are gonna use our concealer. I'm gonna use a darker one in the middle, and then a little bit of a lighter one on the corners. So I like to use a liquid concealer because, like I said, it's more like skincare. I'm using the Gibson Girl. I'm mixing N25 and N2. All right, so you're gonna use your finger again, and where I placed my concealer is normally where you're gonna have your dark circles. So that's what I do. You're gonna be patient when you're doing this, because you have to be. If you can use a brush, and I do when I'm in a hurry, but if you really want to have the best makeup look you can, you gotta be patient. I'm gonna wipe off the excess onto a towel, and I'm gonna go back in and I'm gonna continue to press it into the skin. I'm taking that to the inner corners of my eyes. I'm not gonna leave it bright like this, okay, I promise. Look how, pretty that is, and, doesn't accentuate any lines underneath your eyes. Again, up. We always wanna go up. This is now when we're gonna use a blush. Since we drug that the concealer down a little bit, we don't want to leave it like that. So I'm using a liquid blush, or a cream blush by Gibson Girl. This is So Natural. And I'm going to put it high on my cheekbones. Like, you might think that it's in my under eye area. Well, because it kind of is. But this is gonna give you a lifting effect. And using our fingers again. Blush, I feel like it just is the first thing that disappears on your face. So I like to use a little bit more than you might think. So it is an exception to the less is more rule. You can also put a little dab right here for some warmth. I think it's a really pretty. If you want to, you can add a little bit of bronzer, just a little bit, less is more. You know, it's the powder, so I'm using it at the end to dust our forehead, just a little bit. We do want to set it now. This is the last thing. Gibson Girl Loose Setting Powder, Invisible. I'm using a brush. This is the Hourglass number 14, and it's one of my favorites. All right, so we only want to barely dust this. The area I'm gonna put it on the most is our eye area. And I don't wanna bake it at all. I mean, it kind of seems like I'm doing that right now, but just kind of dusting, and then I'm feathering it down to blur my pores. Now, if you do put a ton on and you bake it and you let it sit and then you wipe it off, this actually, if you were gonna do it with any product, this would be the product to do it with. But trying it with like the Huda Beauty one, which is a great one if you're 25 or younger and you wanna have a flawless face, but the older you get, the more product you put on like that, it's not good. It just accentuates the creases in our eyes. You're gonna be humidity, you know, dust the rest of your face, but I'm saying dust like that. All right, that is our bright-eyed makeup look. And now we're gonna take it to the nighttime. We're not gonna add a ton. We're just gonna add a few little things to add a little bit of drama. We're gonna play with some shimmers, but very cautiously. We're going to use our fingers, and I'm gonna use Stolen, and I'm dabbing the excess off, and I'm only gonna try to place this as close to on my lid as possible, and only on the outer corner. It is okay for women, you know, in our older years to wear shimmer, only though on your lower lid. I mean, I'm sure there's exceptions for everybody, but that's my advice. So now we're gonna use this darker color that we had used underneath our lash line. And I'm gonna use a brush at this point just because I'm gonna be putting it in a little bit of a tighter space, and I got big fingers. All right, looking straight into the mirror, I'm going to dab. You can close your eyes once you find your spot and, you know, drag it. I'm gonna take it down to my crease right here as well. And that already is a lot. So we're gonna blend that in with our naked brush. We're going up again, patting and going up, patting, going up. Now that, honestly, that's plenty for me, but I'll show you a little bit more. Same thing, it's called the Bright Time. I'm gonna close my eyes now, take it in right here, stamp it. All right, I will fix this then, and I will show you how to make that look more awake. All right, that's enough for me. You can add as much as you want. Don't go crazy. And I am going to take this darker color again, the one that I said was a lot for daytime, and I'm gonna add a little bit more on our lower lash line, just a little bit. Now we're gonna drag it a little bit further, but not anywhere past the middle mark. Everybody, I think, always has one side of their face that always does better. We're gonna add a little tiny bit of shimmer. It's really not shimmer, it's like satin. And it's called Glassy. And you can use your finger, but like I said, I'm working with a tight little space here. So I'm gonna use a flatter brush. Another Jenny Patikin brush, the eyeshadow, small brush. Literally so tiny right here. That's it, that's all you get. All right, now we are going to use a waterproof eyeliner, preferably, something that you can work with easily. It doesn't dry too fast. And we are gonna take this, you can skip this step if you want, but I'm just gonna show you how you can get big impact without doing a whole lot. So I'm taking this up, it can be a little tricky, to be honest. I'm taking this up into my waterline, or actually it's my eyelash line, but trying to avoid your waterline if you can, especially if you have sensitive eyes. And you're gonna wiggle. Sometimes you can flick up too. Just do what works for you. Because if you have hooded eyes or a small eyelid space and you try to put eyeliner on the top, you're just taking away your lid space and gonna make your eyes look smaller. So this gives drama without the eyeliner. You can actually do it kind of like lipstick with feel. And yes, you're gonna poke yourself in the eye and be really patient. You can lift it that way too. All right, see how I just gave it a little bit more drama and it did not make my eyes look any smaller. It's a nice step, you know, but like I said, you can skip it. This is the Gibson Girl Dark Chocolate. You can use black if you want. Now, if you're somebody, your eyes water a lot, it might not be worth it. Like I said, if you have really sensitive skin, but if you get it in the right spot and avoid your waterline, you are gonna be okay. That's why you're gonna use a waterproof one for sensitive skin. We're gonna add some mascara to our lower lashes, and I'm using a different one because I like this smaller brush. And just, you don't wanna go heavy. Less is more. I told you I was gonna show you how to give yourself a little bit more awake if you tend to get maybe a little bit too much eye makeup right here. So we're going to use the lighter of the two. So I'm using the concealer, and this is N2. So I'm just gonna add a little bit in this corners, both of them. And we're gonna take a flat concealer brush, go up. And I lied, I ended up using my finger because I did not like the way that the concealer brush was working, so it's okay. You can always too take a Q-tip and put some micellar water on it and bring that up, but luckily today, I was pretty good with it. So I'm just giving it just a little bit brighter right here too. All right, so for our nighttime look, we are gonna add a little bit more blush, same color. Like I said, because this is like the first thing that disappears on your face. And I would say that for anybody going on an event, if you're getting your makeup done by somebody and they put a ton of blush on you, just trust them because it will be the first thing that disappears on your face. So if you wanted to, one last thing, take your bronzer and you can use your finger or a light fluffy brush and just graze your brows. This is gonna warm it up. These are all just like little tips that you can use. You don't have to do it every time, but I'm showing you how little modifications that you can do to give yourself a little bit more of a glam, soft glam look. Lastly, we're gonna use a little lip gloss with some sparkle in it, and it's okay because it's not like sparkle, but it does have a little shine. This is the Rose Gold by Gibson Girl. And so it's not like, hey, I'm sparkly, but it's just kind of gives it a little bit more light reflection. So this is the nighttime look. I feel like a little more glammy, but my eyes do not feel like they're super heavy and loaded down with like a smoky eye. I feel like I still look nice and bright and wide awake. If you liked this video, make sure that you give it a thumbs up and subscribe, share it with a friend, and if you have any makeup looks that you want me to do, put them in the comments below. I would love to, and I'll see you next one.